What's up, guys? This is the Double XL Otaku here. I'd like to welcome y'all to the first episode of XO News, where I break down things that have been happening lately in the gaming world, as well as what you can expect for the next coming week. Now, this week started with kind of a blockbuster, and not in a good way. EA once again is in the news. This time, for one thing that many people probably thought no one could be stupid enough to do. EA has decided to not remove their loot boxes in Belgium, and the Belgian authorities have recommended to the prosecutors to look into potentially having jail time as a consequence. Now, where exactly that will lead down the road is anyone's guess. But, I mean, just from my standpoint, if your options are remove the loot boxes or potentially go to jail, loot boxes gotta go. They gotta go anyway, but that's another thing all entirely for a different time. Also this week, we found out that Spider-Man just destroyed the sales charts. In Japan, they did just slightly north of 125,000 units in its first week, and ranked #1 on the UK sales charts. Don't have any definite numbers there, but gotta assume they probably did somewhere north of 100. #2 on the UK sales charts is something that made me very happy, which is Dragon Quest XI, which I am a huge Dragon Quest fan. I have not yet played it. I plan to pick it up probably somewhere in the next week. Yet I have played Spider-Man because it was available on Redbox. And that game is seriously fun. And as should be known by now, that is what I'm about. It is about the fun in gaming. If the game isn't fun, I don't want nothing to do with it. Also this week, the beta for Trials Rising started. Now, I did get into this beta, and the game itself is decently fun, although there are loot boxes. It appears they're only going to be cosmetic, but there's no reason for loot boxes in general, more or less in what's pretty much a single player game. Yes, you can race against other people and you can get ranked that way, but for the most part, it's a single player game. I have reached out to Red Links and Ubisoft to try to find out what's going on with the loot boxes, but I've been ignored, which isn't surprising, but I have tried. Any posts I've made on Reddit have been deleted within about 10 minutes by the moderators, and that's pretty much where that stands. I had pre-ordered it because I played the original Trials HD on the 360. I've played Trials Fusion and the Trials of the Blood Dragon on PS4. So I figured I'll play the next one on the Switch. That way I've had all three consoles involved in a game series that I have found pretty fun. But I don't support loot boxes. And unfortunately, as long as they're there, it won't happen. In fact, I didn't pick up Shadow of War until after loot boxes was already taken out, which I found a great deal on the gold edition a couple weeks ago at Best Buy for $20, which is the same as that definitive edition they just put out for a full $60. Yeah, let that one sink in. Way to go, Warner Brothers. And of course, the big news of the week was the Nintendo Direct that occurred on Wednesday night. This Direct was the delayed Direct from last week that was delayed due to the tsunami and earthquake that had hit Japan. Now, this Direct was hyped up so much. I do think they delivered on a very solid Direct. However, there are a lot of people disappointed. But see, that's what happens when you overhype yourself. There have been many times where people let down with the Directs. People have been let down with video games, movies, and everything else. Just because you let yourself get overhyped. Don't get overhyped. Now, as we break down what was announced through the Direct, we started off with what looked to be just gameplay for the Luigi Mansion port for the 3DS that's getting ready to come out in just a little bit under a month on October 12th. And it turned out it was actually Luigi's Mansion 3 being announced for the Switch. We also had an actual release date given for the remake for Bowser's Inside Story and the Bowser Jr. story, which I love the original Bowser's Inside Story, and looking forward to this remake as well as the extra content of Bowser Jr.'s story. I loved what they did with the Mario Luigi Superstar Saga and the extra content that was added in there. And it was given a release date of January 11th. Also the same date that they gave their Mario and Luigi U Deluxe port from the Wii U that they're bringing, which appears to be a full $60 in and of itself, and that's a little bit disappointing. But anyway, they also released a video for something that my wife said was going to happen, and I said it wasn't going to, which was Kirby. And as you can tell from behind me over here, I'm a Kirby fan. Kirby's Epic Yarn. It was a game on the Wii that I played probably 30 to 40 hours worth. I replayed it a couple times. It was pretty fun. It was a unique take on Kirby, and I enjoyed it. And when it comes out on 3DS, I will be enjoying it again. Also, Square Enix basically dropped a bomb. There are going to be a lot of Final Fantasy games coming to the Switch in the near future and hopefully the far future too. They announced Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, 10-2, 12, the Crystal Chronicles remake, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which is out now if you really want to play that. But then they also announced two that I'm interested in, which is the World of Final Fantasy Maxima, which is essentially a definitive edition for World of Final Fantasy, which I own on the PS4. Now, it has been announced by Square Enix, if you own World of Final Fantasy, you can upgrade to the Maxima Edition with paid DLC on the PS4 and PC, as Maxima will be released on the PS4 and PC as well as the Switch. Now, that information is only as of right now for the Japanese version. It hasn't been confirmed for the westernized version, but I assume you'd be able to, because that would make... No, wait, it's Square Enix. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt. Also, probably the game that made me the most excited in the entire Direct. I'm a huge Mystery Dungeon fan, and Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon on the Wii was one of my two favorite games on the Wii. The other being Shiren the Wanderer. And it's being remade. It's going to be called Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody. And we'll be releasing on the PS4 and the Switch sometime this winter. Now, of course, winter means anywhere from December to late February, early March-ish. So my guess would be somewhere early March. But that's something that really got me excited and made me happy. As well as a new game from Game Freak called Town. Which, as it was explained, you build up the town and all action takes place in this town. There's no town exploring or anything. You don't go out on the map and go to different towns and go to dungeons and all that. Monsters randomly come into the town and you have to fight them and save the town and probably build the town up from anything destroyed and all that funness. So it's definitely something that looked interesting, and I'm looking forward to a little more information on that. Now, there were a lot of other games introduced into the Direct. There were also games that were given release dates. Not too many others that I cared about. I mean, there was Diablo 3, there was some tabletop games, there was Civilization 6, there was City Skylines. Not something I care about. And although I don't care about this next game, I know it made a lot of people happy that it was finally announced that it was coming. And that game is Animal Crossing, which, yes, has finally been announced for the Switch to come in 2019. Though it really did look like they were just going to be trolling the fans with the announcement for Isabelle for Smash. And I really did think that was what was going to happen. That was just going to be trolling them. But I do believe that if that's how that went down, that fans would have set Nintendo headquarters on fire. Because that's how rabid the fan base is and how much they want a new Animal Crossing. So kudos, Nintendo. You finally gave fans something they wanted. They also announced a remake of Katamari Damacy from the PS2 era, which will be coming to both Switch and the PC. As well as Capcom bringing a bunch of beat-em-ups from the arcades to the Switch in just a couple days. Both of which I was excited for, and I somehow managed to forget in the initial recording of this video. Also, earlier this week on Twitter, the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition was dated, and a special edition was teased with a steelbook of the most badass mascot character in all of the Tales series, and potentially all of gaming in Repeat. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition will drop on January 12th. Now, if that date sounds familiar, that's because that's the day that the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and the Bowser's Inside Story remake are also dropping. So that's going to be a pretty tight day. As well as later in the month, some other big names dropping, like Kingdom Hearts 3. But back to Tales of Vesperia. I'll probably be doing a full video on Tales of Vesperia sometime in the near future. But Tales of Vesperia is why I bought a 360 way back in, what was that, 2006, 2007? And it is one of my top 5 all-time games. Now, please keep in mind, I have been playing video games since 1985, when I was 2 years old playing an Atari. So that says a whole lot. And when that definitive edition was announced this year at E3, when I heard that music, yes, say what you will, there were tears of joy rolling down my face. Because finally, I don't have to play the Japanese version on the PS3, which I have been learning Japanese for the past couple years, on and off, for the sole reason of being able to play that game for the extra content. So let's see. I'm very interested to see what the special edition is actually going to include. Hopefully it's not just something on the Bandai Namco store and it's something that can be picked up at Amazon, Best Buy, or Target, or GameStop. But if it is, well, I guess I'm going to have to bite the bullet on that one. Also, if you watched my last video of the demo impressions for the Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, you'd know that it's one of my most anticipated games, if not my most anticipated game for 2018. It was announced you'll be able to play as Kiryu from the Yakuza series, which is just a skin from Kenshiro. But oddly enough, the voice actors for Kiryu and Kenshiro in Japan are the same guy. So that's actually a pretty cool little tidbit. It was also announced that Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force will be coming to the Switch. I played this game when the original version came out on the PS3 as just Fairy Fencer F, and I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I had to sell my copy due to life circumstances before I could finish it, but managed to pick it up again as Fairy Fencer Advent Dark Force on the PS4. I haven't really been able to put too much time into it because my backlog is insane, but it's a game that I had a lot of fun with, and it's pretty cool to see that it's coming to the Switch now. It will be released sometime this year, according to Idea Factory International, and its price will be $40, but digitally, and only digitally. Idea Factory International will be handling the localization for North America, yet Europe, you're going to get taken care of by Ghostlight, who you guys should be familiar with at this point, because it seems just about every RPG that gets localized over there is done by Ghostlight. And at Tokyo Game Show, though it doesn't actually start until this coming Wednesday, September 19th, there were some pre-event press conferences. At these pre-event press conferences, Sega announced Samurai Showdown is returning in the form of Samurai Spirits. A very fun fighting game is getting a fresh coat of paint and will be in Unreal Engine 4. Something I'm definitely going to check out when we get some more information on it. Hopefully there'll be a demo somewhere. And also there was a new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer showing off Big Hero 6 stage. Yeah. That's my reaction because I just want the game to come out. I've been waiting years, literally years at this point, for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm just tired of waiting. It just needs to get to January already and come out. Also, a new game was announced called Project Judge. The game seems to be something that is a mix of Ace Attorney and Yakuza, as probably the weirdest mashup of games that I've probably compared something to. Not a ton is known about this title now, but it might be worth looking into a little bit down the road. Also, Project Awakening was announced. Yes, another Monster Hunter clone. That's all I got for that. It's another Monster Hunter clone. It's probably going to play just like Monster Hunter. And if I want a Monster Hunter clone, God Eater 3 is on the way. Yeah, I said it. And one of the games I'm looking forward to in 2019, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, got another trailer at the press event. This game, the more and more I see of it, it really reminds me of Tenchu. Like if Tenchu and Dark Souls had a kid. Which would probably be pretty fun. And kind of scary and not the kind of person that you'd want to piss off. Because, well, that's probably what would happen. And Tokyo Game Show, as I said, will occur officially starting on Wednesday, September 19th, and will run until the following Sunday, September 23rd. After it's all said and done, I'll make a video for it and kind of break down what's went on through Tokyo Game Show. I'm hoping for some nice surprises on Sega's conference or stage. On Sega's conference, I'm really expecting to find out a release date for the Sonic racing game. Just because it's something that at this point we should have a release date for, and there's no reason if it's coming out this year that there's not a release date for it yet. So that's probably when they're going to announce it. I'm also looking for any type of little random announcements that get made. I have no high hopes because, as I said earlier in this video, if you get too hyped for something, you're just asking to be let down. Well, I sort of said that. But yeah, don't get overhyped. And coming this week, I will finally be starting up my Twitch streams. Now that I finally have the webcam. Which, by the way, hi guys! The last 3 videos, I didn't have one. I had been waiting for it to come in. It's what happens when there's a major sale on something and it gets backstocked. But I wanted to start the channel anyway. Now, through this next week or two, I'll be streaming one of 4 games. At any given time, Shining Resonance Refrain for the Nintendo Switch. Touhou Genso Wanderer Reloaded for the Nintendo Switch. Ys 8 for the PS4. And Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory for the PS4. Now, before you ask why I don't have the Ys for the Switch, well, I'd already had the PS4 version, and I don't tend to double dip. Unless it's something that I'm really, really love, like, well, Tales of Vesperia. Yes, that's a double dip. Maybe a triple dip for the PC version. I'm not entirely sure. But, you know. And I guess that'll do it. Thanks for sticking around, because I realize this may not have been super exciting. And for that, if you felt that way, I'm sorry. It will get better. as I get more used to this. I'm also working on a video sometime in the next week or two that's going to be kind of anime gaming related, and it's something I hope you guys will enjoy. Well, that's it for now. If you like it, please hit the thumbs up. If you don't, go ahead and hit that thumbs down. I won't be upset, but go ahead and tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. If you're not subscribed yet and you like what you've seen, whether it's this video or my previous reviews and impression videos, please do subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content coming soon. You can also check me out on Twitter or the Facebook page, and you can also check me out on Twitch. As I said, there will be streaming beginning tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. I promise there will be streams beginning. And that's it. This is the XXL Otaku. It's time to find more fun in gaming.